is Karthik Pandit here again with my friend Dr. C. A. Chaitanya Shah. And we are going to talk today, which is on a topic of business ecosystems. Chaitanya is going to talk about the ecosystem that prevails in business. Over to Chaitanya.
Friends, today we are going to talk about the business ecosystem. Any business and any businessman operates in a particular environment, which is either supportive to the business, not supportive to the business. There are challenges, and these are something which in the business ecosystem one has to work on. Today, we will focus particularly with reference to the 1991 economic reforms, situation prior to that and situation post economic reforms. Some of you may not be aware of it, but earlier we had a supply controlled economy, in the sense that the supply was restricted, monitored through the licensing Raj, as they used to call it. Now, I'll give you two typical examples, which I think most of you would be aware of. One, let us talk about the vehicles. Earlier, there were only two companies which were operating and manufacturing. One was Fiat, Premier Automobiles, and the other was Ambassador. These were the only two vehicles which were available. And there used to be a long queue of maybe sometimes 3 years, 5 years. In case of Fiat, even 5 years it was not available. Even Bajaj scooters was in short supply. Telephones, there was a long queue of 5 years, 10 years and all that. And what was happening in that, which is very particularly important from the entrepreneurs and the SME owners point of view, is if you see the profit is a function of sales minus cost. That is how you derive the profit. In good old days, prior to 91, what used to happen was the businessmen were able to maintain their profit or increase their profit by simply increasing the sales prices. Sales was the driving force because they were controlling the quantity supply side. They were able to make the profit whatever they required through adjusting the supply in the market and make the profit. Now, a paradigm shift which took place in 91, as we call it as a opening of the economy through liberalization and globalization process. Liberalization meant that within the country, within the economy, there won't be any license Raj. Anybody and everybody can get into any particular business or get out of the business as per their requirement, as per their own business thoughts. And the globalization meant that India was becoming or opening the country for entry and exit of the foreign players in the economy. And India being a huge market, lot of players started coming in. And the biggest example was Maruti, the way it started entering the other vehicles. Today, we know there may be more than 100 vehicles which one has the option to buy from. Now, this paradigm shift has a very important thing as far as the business owners are concerned, entrepreneurs are concerned, because now the profit is no longer could be maintained or could be increased by just simply controlling the supply or increasing the selling prices. Now, selling price today is being monitored through the market forces. One is not in a position to increase the selling prices as per their own wish. So, in order to maintain your profit, you have to focus on the cost. And that is why today, many businesses are under pressure. And this paradigm shift is something which is very important for the economy. We see so many options in terms of buying the products, so many availability. But if you look at it from the business point of view, there is so much of pressure on the businesses to run it in a much more professional way, in a much more efficient and effective way, whereby they are able to maintain their customer base. They are able to ensure that the bottom line is maintained immediately. With slightest mistake, your bottom line can be affected. And that is where the paradigm shift is something which is very, very important for entrepreneurs to understand, because surviving in a competitive economy, global economy, it's very important that the focus is on the cost. More you are able to control the cost, you will be able to increase your profits and you will be able to survive for the long term. I think this is what, Karthik, is the important message today. And this is what all the owners and the budding entrepreneurs must understand for their long-term survival. And this is one of the reasons why, if you notice, so many startups who come out with a bang are under tremendous pressure, because they only look at the top line and increasing the customer base rather than simultaneously focusing on the bottom line. And this is what the entrepreneurs should look at, startups should look at, and even the businesses which are in the SME segment and who wants to grow, they need to look at. That's all, I think, Karthik, from my side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think cost is a very important factor, because if you look at what happened to the industries which were thriving in the license Raj, we unfortunately find that they've all almost shut down because they were used to only controlling sales. Everything was driven by demand which was pent up and which was just being managed to be sort of met. And now things are just different. So having said that, we come to the end of this episode. Thank you for watching this series. We always welcome your suggestions, your comments, and should you have any queries, do feel free to contact us. So do subscribe to our channels. Comment is invited on YouTube channels. And if you need to contact us, you can reach out Dr. Chaitanya Shah at cshah01@yahoo.co.in, or Karthik Pandit at karthik.pandit@gmail.com. Bye for now.
Thank you.